Good morning, boys and girls. It's Miss Preller here with your skills block lesson of the day. Today's target is I can retell events from the story Chip Can't Nap. You won't need any materials for today's lesson. Okay, our engagement song goes like this. Gather round together and listen up well. We're going to read a story that you can retell. When we read a story, you will grow. At the end, you'll say back what you know. So, our engagement text title is called Chip Can't Nap. Okay, and for this story, you need to make the pictures in your head. So sometimes when someone's reading a story to me and there's no pictures for me to see, I like to close my eyes and try to picture it in my head. Okay, let's begin. Every afternoon, Chip starts to yawn. When this happens, he knows it's time for his cat nap. Lately, he has been sleeping in the alley behind the donut shop. He starts to curl up inside of the hat that he uses as a bed when he hears a huge thud and then a bash. What was that? He thinks as he looks up to investigate. Is it the trash can? A worker from the donut shop had thrown a big stinky bag of trash into the can and then slammed the top back on. Okay, now I can nap, Chip thinks as he closes his eyes. But then he hears a horn honking. He gets up and looks around the corner into the street. A truck is blocking the street, so the taxi cab and many other cars are honking their horns loudly. Ugh, Chip says. Will I ever get to take a nap? Chip is one cranky kitty when he doesn't get to rest. He is so tired he can barely think, but he has an idea. Sometimes the window of the donut shop delivery van is open. Maybe he can slip in and nap in the comfy back seat. He walks over to the van, but is disappointed to see that all the windows are tightly shut. Will I ever get some peace and quiet so I can take my nap? Chip thinks he is getting more cranky. Then he has one more idea. Pat's house. There is a little girl in the neighborhood named Patricia, Pat for short. She lives with her brother James and their grandma. Pat sometimes leaves scraps of food out on the porch for Chip. If he goes over there, maybe he will get to take a nap. And a snack, too. Chip hurries over to Pat's house and quickly curls up in their small front yard. When he wakes up, there is a bowl of milk waiting for him on the front steps. Chip licks up every last drop of milk. He is not a cranky kitty anymore. Now he's a happy kitty. Now we're going to move into our next learning target, which is using evidence from the text. I can answer questions about the story Chip Can't Nap. Remember, evidence is a fancy way of saying, show me how you know that. Where in the text did you find your answer? Now, my first question is, where does Chip try to nap first? Think about it. Where is he trying to nap at the beginning of the story? He is sleeping in the alley behind the donut shop at the beginning of the story. See how I found that in the text? Where does Chip finally get to nap? So that means at the end of the story, where does he finally get to nap? Well, after he's in the alley, he tries the van, but the van doesn't work either. So he goes to Pat's house, remember? And he curls up in their small front yard. So the answer to that is he curls up in the small front yard. Remember that if you don't have enough time to answer, you can always pause the video. What does the author mean by the phrase, Chip is one cranky kitty when he doesn't get rest? What do you think they mean by cranky? Cranky can mean grumpy. I know that when I get sleepy, I don't always feel my best and I can be a little bit grumpy. My next question is, what is an alley? An alley is an area between two buildings. A lot of times they have things like garbage cans in the alley between the two buildings. And my last question, how does Chip change from the beginning of the story to the end? How does Chip change? Well, remember, in the beginning of the story, they say Chip is one cranky kitty because he's tired and he needs a nap. At the end of the story, when he wakes up, there's a fresh bowl of milk. Chip licks up every last drop of milk. He's not a cranky kitty anymore. Now he's a happy kitty. So he changes from cranky to happy. Good job answering those questions with me. Here's our Decodable reader song. Now we'll read a story with letters that we know. Get your finger ready to follow the flow. When we see a word, we'll stop and look and get our mouths ready to read the book. Our next learning target is I can read the decodable text, Chip Can't Nap. So a minute ago, we read the teacher text, which gives you some background knowledge into the story. Now we're going to read the kid version. Now, you heard that word decodable. A fancy word for decodable is to blend. So we are going to blend the sounds we hear. We also call it sound it out. So when I see SH, I know that SH together says shh. Then I see the letter O, O says ah. And then we see the letter P, P says huh. And when we put those together, we're going to hear a word. Will you sound it out with me? Remember, I always say sing the vowel. It helps your ears hear the word. Shh, ah, p, shop. Did you hear shop? Good. Let's try with the next word. So we've got the we've got the letter B, the letter E, the letter D. Think about what those letters say. Now let's sing it. Bed. What did you hear? Did you hear bed? Good job. Let's try on this one. What letter is this? What sound does it make? Now try singing it. What word did you hear? Let's try together. Ab. Cab. Good work. Our next word. Now again, I see a digraph in there. I see the SH. Oops. The SH, and we know SH together says shh. So when you get there, you're not going to say s. You're going to say shh. Try singing it. Good job. Did you do this? Shh. Hush. Yeah, hush might mean to be quiet. Try on this word. Did you stretch out the sounds? D. Ash. Dash. Dash means to run real fast. And the last one, there's that SH again, the sh sound. We've got sh, shut. Were you able to read those words? That's the reading strategy I want you to use in our book, Chip Can't Nap. When you get to those words you don't know, I want you to blend it. That means sound it out and sing those sounds. It helps your ears. Okay, let's take a look at our book, Chip Can't Nap. Make sure to point under every word as we read just like this. Chip can't nap. He doesn't look so good on that cover, does he? Okay. Now we know this word because we've seen it a lot. In fact, there's a bunch of words in here we already know because they're sight words. We know Chip because we've been reading his name a lot. We know has, we know a, we know by, and we know the. So there's only two words that we need to sound out. Let's try the first page together. Chip has a bed by the shop. Now that was kind of choppy, so let's try one more time. Chip has a bed by the shop. Good. That was a lot more fluent. Why don't you point and read it on your own? Good job. Okay, these words look like sounded out words. Ready? What does TH together say? What does you say? And what does D say? D. Now let's sing it and put together. D. Thud. Remember that means to fall and it makes that sound when you hit the ground. Thud. Now we gotta figure out this word. B. Ash. Bash. Thud. Bash. You try reading it. Good work. Oh man, so before that thud and the bash was waking Chip up, now what's waking him up? Yeah, it looks like a taxi cab is honking the horn. Now think about all the words we know. There's quite a few in here we do know. Like the, not, can. But there's some words we're going to need to sound out too. The, ab, cab, will, not, hush, hush. Now, that's the end of our sentence, so I'm going to go back and make it smooth. The cab will not hush. We go down and over. Chip can not nap. Chip cannot nap. Notice that because I already sounded not out up here, I didn't need to sound it out again here. I remembered it, and that's a skill that good readers have, is they remember words once they figure them out. They try to keep them in their brain. Why don't you point and try to read this on your own? Good, I hope you were able to read it, and if not, remember our strategy, which is to blend the sounds and words, sound it out. You can always rewind the video too to hear me read it one more time. Now looking at this, I see will again, I see to, I see the, I see Chip, so there's a lot of words in this sentence that I already have read, so I know. Chip will dash to the van. Okay, now that was choppy. Let's make it smooth. Chip will dash to the van. Your turn. Point and read. Good job. Okay, look at the words we know. We know the, we just read the word van, and we know is. The van is shut. The van is shut. You try reading it. I want you to try this page on your own first. Remember, blend the words you don't know. Okay, let's read it together. Will Chip get a nap? Were you able to sound out nap? Nice work, boys and girls. Excellent reading. Our reflecting on learning question of the day is, when we got to a word we didn't know in the text, what strategy did we use? Think about that. What do we do when we don't know a word in the text? Good. When we don't know a word in a text, we sound it out. So I put a word right here. I'm going to model. We say cab. And the faster we can sound it out, the better and more fluent we will be as readers and writers. So knowing those letters and those sounds quickly is really helpful with that. Great work today, boys and girls. I can't wait to learn with you again tomorrow.